So it's just after 7 p.m. here, so I'm balancing. I've got a probiotics juice and a glass of red wine. So
Oh, goodness.
that's my Friday night.
I don't know. All right. Let's get started. Okay. Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to the Stella Woman Magazine, the Stella Woman Show. The show and the magazine that brings you thriving women's stories, knowledge, and experiences so that you too can learn one or two things, be inspired, make a change, and thrive in your life. We're here to move knowledge. It's our way of moving light in the world so that you can change your perspective, reveal possibilities, and help women maximize their potential, bring about impact. This is our way of making the world a better and a brighter world. And today, and as Stella, if you all don't know me, my name is Stella Kikoyo. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Stella Woman magazine and the host for the Stella Woman show. And today we have an amazing, thriving woman who we are really honored to have here, Farah Mak. Hello, Farah. Welcome to the Stella Woman show and the magazine.
Hello, Sparkle Tabulous Stella. I'm so happy to see your face again, and thank you for inviting me to be here your Friday morning, my Friday night. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, indeed, indeed. I'm so honored to have you here because really, after having an opportunity to see you at hosting, being the MC for Women Changing the World Awards, I was just blown away by what you bring to the world. And I'm sure all of our listeners or subscribers are going to be blown away. She brings an amazing sparkle to the world. She's a light. And
Oh,
tap
God.
into that light.
Thank you so much. And right back at you.
Yeah. So Farah is many things. She's an actress, a founder, a speaker, an advocate. She's a founder of Self-Worth Movement and She Shines creator, Sparkle Squad Girls, actress in Neighbors, and I think also other aspects as we are going to get to know. An MC, a speaker, and an author. Oh, yes. An advocate, a symbol of self-worth. So, women, just get seated and let's get to tap into everything that Farah is and more. Of course, we are going to have a chance and opportunity to get to know more about Farah. So, we are going to start it up by asking. I don't know if that's enough, but let's first ask, but who is Farah Mak? Is that all that she is, or there is more that we have to know?
That is a great question. Who is Farah Mak? All of the above that you just said. Also, mother of four children, three dogs, and now one chaotic kitten, just to throw in the mix. Who is Farah Mak? I think I loved what you said with a symbol of self-worth. I try each day to stand as a symbol of self-worth and be an activator of hope and joy. My name actually means joy and happiness. So I think, oh, my mum named me for my purpose. My purpose in this world is to bring joy, joy by name, joy by nature. So all of that and more. But as we've talked about together, Stella, before, I'm also a human being who has her own challenges and hardships and tries to continue to see the sparkle in every day, in every way, despite whatever is thrown at me.
Oh, very good. Thank you for bringing that up. She's a mother of four, so let's get and many things. So we are going to tap into how she does it all anyway. But we want to know, where did you grow up and how did that in any way bring about an influence on your values? We know that your name has an influence on your purpose, but where did you grow up and how has that influenced your values?
I grew up mostly in South Australia, in Australia, but I actually grew up between cultures because I lived as a little girl for a while in Sri Lanka and India. So between cultures, between expectations, and I would say between the ache of silence and the power of story. So my childhood probably taught me early that home is not always a place, it's a feeling, a safe space of wherever you are. And my mum has laughed saying, because we moved around so much and did so many things. She said, I think that's why you're so adaptable to change now. I just embrace change and I thrive in change. And so I've spent my life creating spaces where others like to feel seen, to be heard and held in their own value. And that's sort of shaped everything I do. I learned to listen between the lines, to speak for those still finding their voice, and to fight for a world where softness and sparkle is strength.
But the way you say everything, it just goes straight to my heart. The same way you did on the awards night, evening. I always just feel everything you say. And I'm actually
Oh,
feeling it right now. It's
oh,
beautiful. So beautiful. Amazing.
thank you.
Yeah. Ah. So if we look at your early, were there any early signs in your childhood or teenage years that pointed out towards this passion of purpose, leadership, and advocacy? Is there anything that is related, or are you just seeing a change? Of course, you have this history in Sri Lanka, the story, and all of that. But were there any signs?
Yeah, I would say absolutely, yes. I was the girl who would turn a living room into a stage, schoolyard heartaches into poems, and playgrounds into performances. But behind the sparkle was always like a deep knowing I could feel what others couldn't say. So that empathy became my superpower. And then, even then, I knew I wasn't just here to entertain, I was here to elevate. And on the performance thing, my mum, again, telling stories of my mum, she is quite a shy, like reserved lady. But she said, whenever she would take me out as this 3-year-old girl, if we would be in a shopping mall or something, I would be going up to people going, "Hello, my name's Farah. What's your name? Tell me about you." So I think right from the very beginning, I was born to perform in a way that to touch lives, but also I loved connection.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I could only imagine you as a little girl.
Farah. I've really tapped into her again lately when I like through the process of writing I Am Worthy, which we can talk about later. But that's helped me really tap back into my inner child and find that playful, curious, wonder-eyed little girl.
What a beautiful moment. Oh my God, I can't wait to tap into that. I've seen so far books, they are just beautiful. Oh, that's
Thank
beautiful. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So what challenges or pivotal experiences have shaped the sense of your identity as a woman and as a leader that you are?
I think probably my husband's just wandering past in the background. My real dark night of the soul moment that has shaped me into being the empowered advocate and activist that I am today is surviving domestic and family violence. That was something that at the time of journeying through that really shattered me. I felt like I was an empty shell floating aimlessly in a lonely sea. But it helped me from that. I had to learn to gather the pieces with reverence and rebuild for myself, for my children, motherhood advocacy, and choosing to rise in a world, that often tries to silence us. So this wasn't just an experience, it was like, I guess, an initiation. And it taught me that leadership isn't about control, it's about courage, integrity, and the ability to hold both grief and grace in the same breath and together as one, to be able to hold those two things in unity.
Oh, wow. Can you say that? The end again, please. I was just tapping into all those aspects that are so pivotal in helping us to look at it the way you're seeing it, choosing to rise.
Hmm.
So you're talking about grace, courage, grace, and there were things that I needed to hold on to.
Integrity. Integrity is a big one for me. That's
Yeah.
one of my top personal values.
Yeah.
And the ability to hold grief and grace in the same breath, in the same moment.
Yes, that ability to hold them, both of them together. Yes,
Mm.
powerful, powerful. But gathering the pieces and choosing to rise, that's an important aspect. Where in you do you get that? I don't know. Can you help someone find that? How do they find that?
Yes, so I will describe. So it comes back to self-worth for me. I think self-worth is the foundation of absolutely everything. And I visualize self-worth. I'll use a little visual cue here for you now, like a little crystal that lives within your heart space. We're born with it. It is our innate gift. It's a God-given gift. Just like we have body parts, fingers, toes, blood running through our veins, self-worth is part of who we are. However, life throws us challenges, heartache, hardship, all different types of adversity. Like for me, the real dark night of the soul moment, as I mentioned, was being in an abusive relationship. For others, it might be health issues or family issues or financial issues. But so when those challenges come, that little beautiful diamond that lives within your heart space can be buried by the rubble of all these challenges in life.
Yeah.
So I think when we can tap back into our self-worth,
Yeah.
unravel the rubble, like literally dig away at all the stuff that has shrunk us and dimmed our sparkle, then we can rise up in our strength. And when you have a strong sense of self-worth, that helps you to overcome anything in any time, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you have to say.
Oh, fantastic. How powerful is that? I'm sure many of us will can take just that away actually from this interview to really be able to rise.
And on self-worth, like it's probably could talk for hours and hours still of it. I think self-worth is something that we need to practice to take care of. It's a nurturing, like you can probably see blurred in the background. I have vision boards,
Oh,
I have affirmations everywhere. So I practice things daily to keep my sense of self, my self-worth, and my identity strong. Because again, like we've mentioned, I'm human. I have stuff that gets me down at times, but if I keep up these little practices, and they don't need to be hard things, like having my vision boards there, so it's just there in my face to remind me. Writing affirmations on mirrors. At the moment, I've got on my mirror, I'm graceful, I'm luminous, and I can't remember what the other one is, but I always have three affirmations on my mirror. So when I'm brushing my teeth or washing my face or whatever, as you can see, my husband's just modeling in the background there. I'm grounded. He wanted to tell me what my third one is. So I'm graceful, I'm luminous, I'm grounded. There are three things that I need at this point right now. So I look at them morning and night or whenever I'm reflecting in the mirror.
yes.
And that again just helps keep that pathway to my self-worth clear and strong.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. It's practices really to keep you in line.
Absolutely. Like
Yes.
we physically take care of our bodies, whether we go for a walk or we go to the gym or we go to yoga. So this is actively taking care of your self-worth, your sense of identity. And like I said, it doesn't need to be hard practices. Even with meditation, sometimes I just go onto an app like the Insight Timer. If I'm feeling anxious, I'll type in meditations for anxiety and I'll just sit there for 10 minutes. And so it can just be that short amount of time I take out of my day, or whether it's going for a walk and being really mindful. So we're blessed to live near the beach, so I'll go for a walk and I'll sit and look at the waves rolling in and think, wow, how powerful are that? Like my mind wanders. I'm so creative and visionary. My mind will go, oh, and those rocks, but the waves are stronger than the rocks because they've eroded them. Isn't that amazing? Because the waves are softer, but they're stronger. And then I think about how that is for me. Anyway, I'm going into the big detail now, but I'm trying to simplify it to say it can be a little thing like going for a walk and actually being present and mindful and looking at nature and thinking about how incredible that is.
Yes, 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 yes. No, it's not wandering off. It's actually giving people really real tools. Women, especially, we need that. We need to really tap into that self-worth and not lose our identity with whatever it is. So anything you give is actually important. It could really help someone to continue
Mm.
their journey. Yeah, that's really important. So small things like that, you think it's small, it's 10 minutes, but actually it can make you rise again and continue.
Yes, those little moments in time create the bigger picture of strengthening your self-worth. And when, as I said, when you have a strong foundation of self-worth, then when life does throw those curveballs at you,
Yeah,
you've already empowered yourself to be able to push through it and rise above it
right.
rather than let it defeat you.
Rather than be defeated. So strong foundation of self-worth. That's pivotal. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, we always want to tap quickly into women to understand what they value, what in terms of attributes of a stellar woman. What attributes, I know we can tap into self-worth and all of that, but what attributes would you put out as stellar woman attributes?
I think that's a really powerful question. Again, self-worth is for me very strong as the foundation, and a
Right.
stellar woman to me radiates from the inside out. So allowing your inner sparkle to emanate outwardly. She
Yes.
leads with purpose, listens with presence, and we can talk more about listening with presence later, and lives with power that doesn't dominate, it dignifies. So with dignity. So I see a stellar woman equal parts softness and steel. Again, I can elaborate on that. She lifts as she rises, and she knows her worth is not up for negotiation.
Wow. Lifts as she rises and knows her self-worth is
Is
not
not up for negotiation.
is not up for negotiation. I love that. Oh my goodness. This is a masterclass in life. Okay. I'm sure we're going to fly. From here, we're going to just soar from your
Oh yeah, with glitter wings.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing those attributes. Yeah, presence is very important. Radiating inside out, leading, dominating, not dominating, but leading with
Dignity
dignity,
and
lifting
grace.
as you rise, dignity and grace, and self-worth. Your self-worth is not up for negotiation.
100%. And on the days that you feel this is I'm speaking from my own personal experience and another little life hack that I have. On the days that you feel that you can't tap into that, sometimes I just put the sparkle on the outer. So I'll actually bling myself up a bit more. I'll put on a sequin top or something. I'm like, okay, I'm sparkling on the outside now. Let's tap in the inside and let that then. So I have to reverse engineer it if I'm feeling flat.
That's very true. You have to, yes, you have to reverse engineer that element. Okay, that's fantastic because at times you're not actually, it's very hard to tap into the inner, so you can use the outer to change.
Yeah, bring it through.
Oh, thank you. Now we know that, as we said at the beginning, that we met at the Women's Changing the World Awards, and for your presence, you really, really enabled the room to be. For me, it was a different experience. It was magnetic. It was uplifting. It was everything. And you talked about radiant. And one of the self-worth card, I got actually two self-worth cards because I changed seats twice, and both cards were radiant. Both cards.
Wow. Well, there's a
Yes.
message there for you.
And I have them on top of one of the tables, but I change when I'm doing interviews. So I was just so hearing your voice and the things you talk about, really, they are all about elevating the woman inside out. So what does it mean for you to be a vessel of elevating energy in rooms like rooms of change makers like the awards evening? Yeah.
First, I would say it is a real privilege and a blessing and a gift because to me, and I have a very clear intention when I create the scripts and the run sheets and everything. I'll literally go into a meditative like prayer, and my intention is that whatever I deliver, my words, my poetry, meditations, whatever I deliver when I'm emceeing or speaking, will touch every single woman's heart and soul to spark that flame within her. So that is my intention when I come into a room. So when I hear feedback like that you felt that magnetic, it's like, oh, thank you, because that's my intention. That's my prayer that I go in there and it's nothing about me. This is about each single woman to be touched in some way to ignite the spark in her heart. So it's a sacred thing for me. It's to hold space in a way that is to channel something way bigger than me. It's ancestral, universal, divine. And when I'm on that stage, I'm not just speaking. My job is my role, I should say. It's not really a job. Is weaving connection, awakening courage, igniting remembrance of that inner sparkle. So it's never about me. It's about each unique, worthy woman in the room and us as a collective. So again, about that connectedness.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. So today our theme for this particular interview is play big.
Mm.
Okay. As women, we want to play big. It's not that we don't want to, we do. And we want to understand from women like you who are on stages, who are really playing big. How do you define playing big? Just in whatever way, personally, professionally, soulfully, whichever way. I just want your whole definition.
I would, oh, there's so many things I could say about that. I did think about this one. I thought to summarize, playing big isn't about titles, followers, or applause. It's about daring to live as the fullest expression of your own sparkly soul, even when it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. It's telling the truth, even when your voice shakes. It's holding space for your inner child to dance again. And it's creating ripples that become waves. So when you're having that moment where you can play big, you're sparking something in someone else to empower them to play big. So creating those ripples that become the waves, that become the tidal waves of empowering others.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. So it's really about that creating from within, being authentic.
Yes. There is, I think being authentic is the crucial recipe in the mix of playing big because no one else is like you. So even if someone tries to mimic your business plan or your speaking style or your message, they can never deliver it like you. You have a purpose. You
Mm.
were born for that thing. So yours is unique and special and magic in its own way. So just be in your full presence and be your authentic self because that in itself is the magic that this world needs.
Fantastic. Thank you for almost giving us the permission to be, because when you are, you're allowing another woman to be as well when you are
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah. And don't let anyone ever steal your sparkle.
That's the way of playing big, never allowing anyone to take away your sparkle. Once you do
Yes.
that, you're actually playing big in a way. But it's that ripple effect for others. So, as an actress on Neighbors, I grew up watching Neighbors. I was telling my daughter, and
No,
she's
no, we can talk about that for hours as well. I've literally manifested this role, and I can share that story with you
oh
later.
my goodness, I want to hear about that. What has performance taught you about especially this element of courage and authenticity and emotional truth? Because I'm not an actress. I always just admire actresses.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Well, everybody has a inner actress inside them because we're all born storytellers. I think acting because I'm a trained actor, so I've been through acting schools and
Yes.
everything. And for me, I went back to acting in my 30s. So I was a child actor. Then I lost my confidence through my teen years, and I went back in my 30s. And what I found was acting strips you bare, but it invites you to feel deeply and honestly and unapologetically. So it's taught me that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the grace to stand in your vulnerability and choose love always and anyway. So every line spoken, every silence, every pause held is an invitation to come home to your emotional truth. And performance has also softened the way I see the world. So when I build a character, for example, I learn to listen without judgment and to look beyond the surface. So there's been times in my role of Katrina Marshall where she's really feisty and a bit rude, to be honest, quite blunt. But because I've built her character and I understand that it's the reason she behaves in certain ways sometimes is because her own values have been triggered. So it's helped me become more empathetic and non-judgmental and compassionate. So you start to understand that, as we talked about earlier, everyone is carrying something, heartaches, histories, hopes, things we may never see. It's beneath the surface. And so the process of training as an actor and becoming an actor and working on set has refined my empathy and deepened my compassion. I guess, like literally not just as an actress, but as a human being. So it reminds me that we are all stories in motion and just we're all longing to be understood, seen, heard, and valued.
Mm, that's really good. The way you describe it for us to learn not to be judgmental, because you talk about this character and the reason she behaves, even if you think she's rude, but there is a reason she's
What
behaving.
is beneath the surface? And I've been talking about this lately with adolescent and child behavior. Like we label kids naughty kids or they're behaving badly or whatever. But if you just actually stop and pause for a minute, you think, well, what's going underneath the surface that's triggering them to behave in that way? And not just kids. So I'm bringing that up because I've been dealing with that sort of stuff this week, but adults as well. If someone's behaving badly and we react back at that, you're just like compacting the escalation. But if you can just pause for a minute, not take offense and go, oh, there's something going on beneath the surface that their behavior is probably coming from a place of fear or anxiety. That's usually where anger comes from. So the way we respond has much more power if you can respond from a place of softness to go, is there, what's going on for you right now? Is there something I can support you with? It's not always easy, I understand. But yes, answering your question, acting really taught me empathy and compassion, understanding, non-judgment, and also active listening. Like as human beings, and I still find myself doing it, sometimes we talk over people or we talk before they've finished their sentence because we're dying to share something. But if you can learn to just stop and actively listen, have a moment, and then respond, then you're really engaged and present in the conversation. Again, not always easy. I'm not saying I do it all the time. I'm certainly not perfect, but that's a thing that I've learned through my training and work as an actor.
Oh my goodness, that's very, very good. Compassion, understanding, active listening, being non-judgmental. These are things that we need as human beings as we operate in this world, really. And
Mm,
yeah, if we bring all those cards at the table in every experience, every relationship, I think the world will be a better place for all of us.
yes.
Yeah, amazing. So when we look at that, apart from the aspect of courage, bringing out compassion, is there anything else that you think um, acting has enabled you to tap into more in exploring yourself?
Yeah, it's probably enabled me to like explore my shadow sides, the darker sides, and understand myself better when I'm triggered. And it helps when and also honor my softness. So then I can breathe light into stories that deserve the light and life and love, obviously. And I guess the alchemy when fiction becomes a mirror and healing sneaks in between takes. I've found, especially with the character that I've played on Neighbours, her strength and feistiness, sometimes bluntness, actually came as a gift to me at a time in my life where I needed to tap into those things in me because I was going through some real challenges at the time that I landed the role when she was really feisty and blunt. And I actually needed those gifts. So she was a cathartic, healing gift to me to be able to, because I was like, oh, well, if I can do that as Katrina Marshall, as an actor, then I can do that as Farah Mak. I'll just add my grace and sparkle to it. But yeah, it's definitely got that cathartic healing aspect.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I can imagine you tap into that and then actually gain it as Farah in the book.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, weave the characters together a little bit, bring some of her into me and me into her.
And what have you enjoyed the most?
Oh, do you know what I love the most with Katrina? I recently got the character's bio was changed a bit and it talked about how outside of Lassiter's, Katrina Marshall has a really strong value of justice, which is me personally, and she runs the Erinsborough food shelter. So there was a couple of episodes where I was running the Erinsborough food shelter, and on those days that I was on set, I actually just was like, I don't even need to act. I'm just myself today. So I was just like, I was like Farah being Katrina. Because yeah, so that was one of my favorites, and oh, I can't tell you. There was another thing, but it hasn't been aired yet, so we'll have to stay tuned.
You skip that. Okay, it hasn't been aired yet. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. And was there a moment on set where you realized this is bigger than acting? I know you talked about the tapping into your role, but I just talk about healing, where a moment you can describe that actually brought healing to you because it's now beyond just your acting.
Yeah, I think it was when I first landed the role as Katrina, as I was talking about before. So, and the way she was, and she was fighting for justice for something else that was completely not in my own personal life, but in my own personal life, I was fighting for justice in something family related. So playing Katrina was more than a role, it was a reclamation for me. Her fire and her feistiness, her refusal to shrink, all of it awakened something in me that had gone quiet and that I felt too afraid to bring out. So, at a time in my life where I had a deep need of courage and strength, I borrowed hers. So, Katrina Marshall was able to infuse her courage and strength and depth. Well, depth was probably not the right word. Her feistiness. I was able to borrow that, and in doing so, rediscovered my own. So, borrowing it from the character that I had created, thanks to the writers, she strengthened me. And that's when I knew this work, this art, this gift of storytelling, it doesn't just entertain, it heals, it saves, it bridges the space between who we are and who we are becoming. And even little moments, not little moments, they're quite pivotal moments. I remember talking to the script producer about when they first introduced the transgender story to Neighbours and how pivotal that was in the world because older generations who may have once been hardened, hard hearts about loving and embracing people of transgender, that if they see it on Neighbours and they see Dr. Carl and Susan loving this beautiful woman, then that opens up their heart. So Neighbours, like I'm not just talking about Neighbours, any stories, any shows and films have the capacity to change mindsets and soften hearts.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Oh, that's so beautiful what you've shared there. And we know that you are about sparkle and of course self-worth. We want to know what was the spark behind finding self-worth movement? Did it come from a personal breakthrough? What was that?
Yes, I will try and give it to you in a short version because the self-worth movement actually started life as a poem. So many years ago, when I was coming out of that abusive relationship, I remember clearly the day I was sitting on a train, watching people come and go, inside feeling quite lost, and I saw this beautiful young woman board my carriage and thought, oh, she's so beautiful, like undeniably lovely. But I could sense and feel that there was a brokenness inside her, like a mirror of myself. And in that moment, I wrote She Shines, this poem, which is about a woman who goes on a journey to rediscover her self-worth. And that was like a love letter to her, to myself, and to every woman. I had a very clear vision back then to turn it into a film, but I had to go through my own healing journey before I had the creativity and the strength to do that. And so, fast forward about 7 years, I finally adapted it into a short film screenplay and was starting to get a great creative team on board, a producer, an executive producer, all that. And then we went into the pandemic and lockdown. So it all just came to a grinding halt. I was working with a life coach at the time, and she said to me, Farah, just because we're in this pandemic thing doesn't mean you stop. You're like the Brene Brown of self-worth. So what are you going to do next? She was like driving me. I went, okay, yeah, right. So that's when I created the self-worth movement and wrote my affirmation cards and partnered with the illustrator who brought my vision to life. So I said, I want fashion style illustrations, but diverse and inclusive so every woman feels seen and heard and valued. And they have to be like the Chanel of affirmation cards. So feel luxurious, look luxurious, make a woman feel how special she is when she's holding them. So the self-worth movement started from a poem, and that's the evolution that it took. So now we have products. I run workshops. I do a lot of speaking. So there's all these different elements, and now the Sparkle Squad girls, which is like the little sister, is coming into it. So the self-worth movement, our mission is to educate, inspire, and empower women and girls about the profound value of self-worth.
Fantastic. It's so beautiful. Much needed, very much needed globally. We need
Yeah,
need
yeah.
and I think self-worth is is really something we lose easily as women.
Mhm,
We give permission to others without realizing.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Like you talked about being unnegotiable. I think if everybody knows that this is something that I don't negotiate with anyone, then it will become,
Yes.
yeah.
Just having those boundaries very clear, even write it up. My self-worth is non-negotiable. Have it on a sticky note on the rear view mirror of your car. So
Yeah.
you have the car knowing my self-worth is non-negotiable. So if anyone tests it or triggers it,
Yeah.
you have a nice response. I mean, you don't have to say my self-worth is negotiable, but you can have a, your boundaries are clear, you energetically have that knowing, and then you might even have a response to answer, just a dialogue, one sentence that you answer gracefully to go, oh, sorry, that doesn't fit within my values or whatever it is for the
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah. That's a good one. Sorry, that doesn't fit into my values.
Mm,
That's very beautiful. Yeah.
mm.
It's powerful, but also, like you said, graceful at the same
Yes,
time. Yeah.
I think there's a lot more power in speaking with grace
Yeah.
and uh, like I see even I'm, part of what I say I am is an activist. So I'm an activist for the prevention of domestic and family violence, but
Yeah.
I'm not the activist that's out screaming and yelling. I know there's people that do that and that's right for them, no judgment.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't feel like it makes an impact. So my activism is all about hope and
Yeah.
empowerment
Yeah.
and bringing light and joy. So I think when you can, and even when I'm, one of my strong values is justice. And when I see it or feel injustice, I feel very triggered. And a little lioness comes out of me like, "Argh." And
Mm.
then I remember, stand in your grace, Farah. There is a lot more power in grace than there is in responding with anger.
But
So
that's
yeah, grace is very important.
grace is very important. But the way you're talking about it, it helps people come to understand. I just thought the way you've demonstrated it, lots of people don't know their values. Have a client who's almost going to retire, and she cried when we went through values, just getting to
Mhm.
values. She's like, nobody has ever said this to me. Is this why this has been happening? Is this why? Yeah, but you talked about the lion is coming, and I always tell people that's how you can tell your
Yes. Yeah, when something, and then because I only discuss, so I've been working with my values for many years since I worked with that life coach, and I knew faith was a top value, creativity, integrity was always a top value. But about 2 or 3 years ago, I went through a very challenging time, and like there was a real injustice in the circumstances. And I was so fired up about it. I was like, whew, okay, justice is one of my top five values. Actually, let's make that number one.
You just feel yourself, and you see that others are not affected, but you are, and that's how you can tell that now this is
Mm,
something that is
that's very
important.
important to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Thank you for demonstrating that. So, when did you realize that your story could ignite power in others, especially in women recovering from trauma and abuse?
It wasn't immediate. I think it was going through my own healing journey, recovering from the abusive relationship that I was in myself. And it took me a long time to share She Shines, my poem. I sort of held that sacredly and still going through my journey. But when I finally did years later, that's when I realized the power in sharing your story. What started as a private love letter to myself, to that woman, to everyone in my mind at the time, became a spark that lit something else in others. So once I began sharing it, women began reaching out saying, that's my story too. I see myself in that. I see myself in your story. And it wasn't always women that have been through domestic or family abuse. Someone might have been through a breast cancer journey or another adversity, but they felt themselves in my story, despite my story wasn't the same as theirs. So that's when I understood that sharing isn't just an act of bravery, it's an act of service. And our stories become bridges. And when we rise and speak from that place of raw truth, we give others permission to do the same. And that's how healing ripples. That's how self-worth is reclaimed together. And we continue to lift one another up and strengthen our own self-worth when we have our own sparkle squad and you're lifting one another's up and supporting each other. That's where the power comes in.
Oh, fantastic. So is that the Sparkle Squad, is that how it came about as well?
Oh, the Sparkle Squad girls. Yeah. So I actually, when I first launched the self-worth movement and the Worthy Woman affirmation cards, I actually simultaneously created the Sparkle Squad girls. And the initial vision was to create affirmation cards for little girls, similar to the Worthy Woman ones, but for young girls. And I just had to put it on hold for a while because life got busy, neighbors came up, and then, all different things happened. So the Sparkle Squad Girls was conceived many years ago, and it didn't come to life until last year's Women Changing the World Awards. I met this lovely lady and she'd received my Worthy Woman affirmation cards, and then I told her about the Sparkle Squad and my vision. And she said, "Oh, have you ever thought about writing a children's picture book?" Well, funny you say that because I'd done courses in it. I'd actually written a few manuscripts, but they're just sitting on my desktop, not doing anything. I never thought about turning the Sparkle Squad girls into picture books. So she planted that seed and then mentored me and nurtured me. And so now I have written and published the first one, which is I Am Worthy. Where is she? Here she is. I Am Worthy. And I now have, oh, I didn't bring her up, but I also have plush dolls, mirrors, hair. So basically, the
Oh,
Sparkle
wow.
Squad girls has gone from one book to now there's a very clear plan. I've already written the second manuscript. There's going to be 25 books in the series. And then there will be early chapter books that follow. So the Sparkle Squad girls grow up and go to the Glitter Bomb Academy, and that's where they face the vortex of worthlessness. And, they go through tween challenges. And yeah, I'm building this whole ecosystem. Oh, here's the mirror, Sparkle Squad girls mirror. And then we have Sparkle Squad girls glittery hairbrushes with Worthy, the lead character, in there. Um, so the Sparkle Squad girls began as a love letter, really, to my inner child and to my daughter Ariana. So I have a 14-year-old daughter Ariana, so I want her to know that no one should ever steal her sparkle. So the story is about teaching young girls about self-worth, but in a modern fairy tale, fun, whimsical way. And I think in a digital age where comparison is constant and worth can feel like a moving target, I wanted to create something that anchored girls in truth through characters like Worthy, which is my first lead character, and Courageous is the second one. So the next book is I'm Courageous. So we give voice to feelings. Sorry, I keep having people knock on my door. Celebrating sensitivity as strength and reminding girls that their power lies within, not in likes, labels, or how we quietly fit in. It's that inner strength again. So there's lots of superhero type stories out there. And speaking of stories, I also had a meeting with Disney about this a while ago. So we're looking at adapting it into an animated series, but that's all very early stages. Stay tuned. So about, making so you're in you already are a superhero. And I want to teach little girls how to become the hero of their own fairy tale.
That is so beautiful. Wow, wow.
And as I mentioned, I think at the beginning of it, when I created this and wrote the book, oh my gosh, Stella, my inner child was just like every day. And I was like, because she's got a best friend that's a unicorn and a the butterfly. So there's a little butterfly that represents self-worth to her, and all her friends are all just so love them, and they're all named after values. So Worthy is the lead character. Courageous is the next. This is Courageous. She's my next one. This is Resilient, I think. I've got 25 characters anyway.
Okay.
Um, and so when I was creating this book, it just brought all my own little inner child stuff
Ah,
to life. And I had the blessing of working with a great illustrator who just took my vision and worked with me and my meticulousness very, very well. And I don't know if you remember She-Ra, Princess of Power, and Rainbow Bright, and all those characters from the 80s. I actually went and bought myself a Rainbow Bright handbag and a She-Ra, Princess of Power t-shirt. I'm talking 6 months ago. So yeah, Squad Girls is here to change the world. I've got a very big global vision for it. I'm just slowly building it and partnering with the right people that can help me elevate it to the next level.
amazing, amazing. Congratulations to all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and has your daughter been involved? Is she Ariana?
Ariana, yeah, a little bit. I have dedicated the first book to her, and we're doing an exclusive launch just to a small group of people coming up soon. And I said, would you like to come and help me on the day at the launch? And she went, do I get paid? Little entrepreneur. So yeah, she's guided me, she's inspired me a lot.
Yeah,
And I did dedicate the book to her, but I want her to remember. So I hope she looks at this when she's older and
yeah.
remembers her worth. And if she's ever listening or reading the Stella Woman magazine, know that you are loved, you are worthy, you always have been, and you always will be.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Oh, she's lucky to have you as a mama. She's really lucky
Oh.
to have you. And the rest, the three boys?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow.
we've got Levi. Fraser, and Austin, and then three dogs, and now a kitten.
Full
But
house.
if I could have miniature donkeys and an alpaca, I would.
Wow, full house. Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Now, you embody such power on stage and in spotlight. What internal work or spiritual practice allows you to shine so consistently?
I I practice meditation, stillness, surrender, prayer, daily. Trying to spend time in nature, but a fierce commitment to self-reflection. So I'll write letters to my soul, I speak affirmations to my heart, and I remember that the light I share with others must first be kindled within. So I always want people to know that self-worth, self-care, sorry, is not selfish. If you do not fill up your own love cup, you have not got the capacity to give to others. My children know that because I've educated them with that, so they understand mum needs a 20-minute nap, and they respect that because they know that I'm filling up my love cup and self-care. So, and little things like I do, again, it just can be moments. So I don't meditate for hours. That I don't have the time for that, to be honest. So I will have a shower where most of the time I won't have any interruptions. And in the shower, I'll say my prayers, and then I visualize and put. If you have, are you familiar with the stage show or the film Wicked?
Yes,
From
yes,
yes. So I put a Glinda bubble. She
yeah,
travels in the bubble. So in this shower time, I'll
yeah,
put a Glinda bubble around me,
yeah,
and I think, what do I need for the day? Today I need courage, I need patience, I need compassion, or whatever it is. What do I need? Put it all in my Glinda bubble, and then I seal it. So nothing, and I say nothing can penetrate this, but it has the power to emanate outwardly. So
yeah.
anyone else that needs courage, patience, joy, whatever it is I've filled my bubble with that day, it can emanate, but no one can penetrate it.
Nothing. Oh, wow, that's so beautiful.
And then sometimes when I really am being challenged during the day, I'll just imagine that Glinda bubble is with me. So even walking down the street, so like if any arrows of negativity come to me, I'm like, ping, 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 ping.
They're all just tarry. You're protected.
Yes, yeah. So like coming back to that simplicity, it's just in the shower. Like even if I'm just having a 10-minute shower, in that 10 minutes, I do my prayer and then I do my Glinda bubble and that's it. I get on with my day.
You have already provided for women, showing them that it's possible in the shower,
Mm.
all of these things. Yeah. Amazing, amazing. I do a bubble, but I do a St. Michael bubble for protection because he's known as a protector, the
Yeah.
archangel. So I evoke that and get into that bubble and know that no one is going to touch me.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I might add St. Michael into my Glinda.
And I love that everybody's going to get something. If someone needs courage, they're going to get something out from. I
Yeah,
love that part of the
it
visualization.
emanates, but it doesn't dissipate the what I have. Like I've got abundance of it in that bubble, so it can give out as much as anyone else needs. But no negative naysayers or energy sparkle stealers can get anywhere near it.
It's bulletproof. Yeah. All right. So playing big often means facing fear, and this is a big thing for women. Was there ever a moment when fear of failure or fear of being seen almost stopped you from stepping into your fullness? And how did you move on from that?
That I think, Stella, there's so many moments, like often and regularly, even though I am standing in my strength of self-worth, I still have those moments regularly. Even last week, I emceed a very moving, powerful event that I've had the gift of emceeing for the third year in a row. It's the Candlelight Vigil here in Melbourne, which is honouring lives taken by domestic and family violence. And whilst I'm a professional MC, I do it all the time and I can just get on stage and I literally come alive when I'm on stage as some little Farah comes out and goes, woohoo, let's go. But this one, because it was so personal and such a moving thing, just before it, I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Like I started questioning myself and fear started trying to rise up and get in my way. And then again, I just went, took a breath, take a moment, pause, remember, this is actually not about me. This is about every single person here. And I have the gift and the blessing to help their healing journey. So removing it from anything about me, it's not about me, it's about all these people here. And then it takes away that fear and that anxiety and the overwhelm.
That's beautiful. So we have to focus on the past and the target audience and what they need rather than on ourselves to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that pressure off yourself.
Mhm.
And then if you want other little little hacks that I do, I often will have like a crystal. There it is, a little crystal in my pocket or something, so it makes me feel grounded. And it might be, my daughter, she carries a little squishy thing, or sometimes I have. If my hands aren't showing when I'm performing, whether it's emceeing, speaking, or on screen or whatever, if I don't have to have my hands on screen, I will just do little things like just to ground me, keep me present. So I have little strategies like that I do if I'm having a moment where feel failure kicking in or trying to have its little hold on me. I'm like, mm-mm.
Don't take
Off
me.
you go. You're not needed. You're safe. It's all okay. I've got this.
I'm not going there. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So there's often a cost to visibility. How do you protect your incense while still expanding your influence?
I guess coming back to again that Glinda bubble, the
Yeah.
morning meditations each
Yeah.
morning, start each morning with stillness, meditation, prayer, and intention.
Mm.
So I have an intention every day. I pray over my family, and then I have an intention of what I'm going to bring to the world and how I'm going to carry myself through the day. My shimmering Glinda bubble of light. So I ground and nourish myself, and I breathe into boundaries, knowing that my boundaries are sacred, not selfish. Again, so it's just like self-care. Boundaries are sacred, not selfish. Returning to my why, to lead with love, to uplift, to remind others of their worth. And I trust that when I move from soul, not my ego, that my essence isn't something I need to protect. It's something that expands as I go through the day. Because I strongly believe when you're anchored in purpose, no force, no one, no thing can dim your light. Because we were never meant to be hidden. Each of us was born to shine. Like, as you know, we were all born for a purpose. We're all born to shine. So when you ground yourself, nourish yourself, take in those self cares, that's what helps you to rise into that power.
Amazing, beautiful, beautiful. And now that you're a voice for women who have been impacted by domestic violence, what does advocacy look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
It's in everything I do, Stella. It's in every email, every meeting, every phone call, every conversation with my family or people I'm dealing with. It's challenging systems, which I've done this week, but with softness, grace, and strength. So it's using my voice in rooms where often silence is easier, and it's refusing to look away or be silenced. But again, doing it with grace and integrity. That's coming back to my real justice thing. So advocacy really stands in everything I do, particularly when my values are challenged.
Yeah. It's particularly at that point. So what message would you give to a woman who feels she's lost her voice or radiance right now? If she's in that moment right now, what message are you going to give her?
I would say, beautiful soul, your light is not lost and it never will be. It's just tucked beneath the weight of the world for a moment in time. You are not broken, you are becoming. Often, when we go through adversities, we become a way more expanded, stronger, incredible version of ourselves. So, knowing again, trying to give that woman hope. So, even when your wings feel bruised, they still know how to fly. So, start small with little things, start soft and whisper if you must, but don't stop. Keep going on your healing journey. Your sparkle is not gone, it's simply gathering its strength to become from a little speckle of stardust into a whole galaxy, and your radiance remembers you. So your voice is not a whisper from the past, it's a roar in the making. You were never meant to disappear. You were born to dazzle, gorgeous glitter bomb, to rise, to rewrite the story, not just for you, again, bring this back, but for every woman who has forgotten that she was made of stardust. So come home to yourself, gorgeous glitter bomb, because the world awaits your sparkle and shine.
come back. And even if you're whispering slowly by slowly, just don't
Yes.
stop.
No. Keep those every little moments, just loving yourself, believing in yourself, surrounding yourself with the Sparkle Squad that will help you rise up into your strength. And know that whatever the toughest times you're going through, you're actually going to come out of this brighter, bolder, stronger, sparklier than ever.
Fantastic, beautiful. So this Sparkle Squad that you're talking about, do people just raise up their hand? I want to be part of the Sparkle Squad. Or do you validate who's the Sparkle Squad? Is there any initiative towards being part of the Sparkle Squad? Because I
Yes.
love it. I just love the fact that you have this squad and it's all about sparkle.
There is actually in the back, so I'll give you some sneak peek. So I'm just we're getting ready to launch, but in the back of the book, and I will launch the Sparkle Squad membership, but all of that is in the strategy plan. But in the back of the book, there's a certificate of Sparkle where it said, I'll read it out to you. This certificate certifies that dot dot dot. So they put their own name in, has the brightest, most magical sparkle in her heart, and is an official Sparkle Squad girl. You shine with kindness, courage, and joy every single day. Your special superpower is your self-worth. Keep spreading your magic and let your sparkle light up the world. You are truly unique, and that is what makes you shine so brightly. Your kindness spreads like glitter, filling the world with sparkle and joy. You deserve all the love, happiness, and exciting adventures that life has to offer. You are worthy. Always remember how special you are just by being yourself. It's your time to shine. Then they write their name, sign it, and date it. So they have this official record that they are a Sparkle Squads girl. And yes, we will be creating a membership as well. It's all work in progress. There's lots, like I said, there's a whole Sparkle Squad galaxy ecosystem being built, but I've done it to this degree pretty much on my own. So now I'm partnering with different organizations to help me bring that vision to fruition.
Yeah, you've just talked about actually Disney, isn't it?
Yes, that's a very early stages. But I did, when I was in London, I met with their vice president and I pitched the book series as an animated TV show, like think Bluey, but girl power kind of vibes. So we're still in discussions. So watch this space.
Yes, I love that. I love everything that is coming for you. I just love it. Now, what age group are we talking about here?
Well, the picture book is really, if we're putting it into a box of age group, it's probably like 4 to 8, but really, it's not just a picture book, it's a glitter bomb of truth. So I wrote it so it suits every age, and specifically that when the mums or the carers are reading it with their child, the message emanates and penetrates into their own heart. So if you're a publisher and you wanted to know the specific age group, 4 to 8 is probably the official age group, but really anyone can
And
read
then
this
sparkle.
and take something from it and ignite your own little inner child to go, oh yes, and know your worth. So
Yeah.
there's messages in there that every woman needs, every girl needs.
Yeah. And when you look at it, what age do you believe that self-worth should be at that age? Should it start young?
Start I think it's so important, particularly this day and age when there is so much comparison with social media, and I think it's a lot harder for girls growing up these days. So as soon as they can talk, start instilling self-worth into their spirit. So little examples, I even do mirror work with my own children. My 14-year-old's not really interested in it at the moment because I'm not cool in her eyes right now. But my 11-year-old son still thinks I'm cool, which is good. And so we continue to do the mirror work. So I get either a whiteboard marker or a chalkboard marker and write I am, and then he fills in, like, I talked about my own affirmations. So he might have things like I am brave, I am funny, I am cool, or whatever it is. And then we'll look in the mirror and I'll say, now look at that beautiful person looking back at you. That is your best friend. Now look deep into your eyes and say those words. I am brave. I am cool. I am funny. So I still do that with my 11-year-old. I've been doing that with the kids since they were little. But yeah, coming back to your question, I think as soon as they can talk or understand you, I do. I mean, I say the prayers to them at night. My prayers aren't conventional, our Father who art in heaven. My prayers are to God, but asking them, and I'll say out loud, Father God, fill my child with confidence and courage and compassion. Let them know their worth and that they're blessed with a long, strong, happy. So I'm feeding those affirmations into their spirit, into their mind, into their ears while I'm putting it out there to God and the universe.
Every mom needs to hear that. Yeah. So you're still praying over them, but using even the affirmations that they have.
Yeah, so like with the intention and hope that it's instilling into their spirit. And then the other practical type things I do is the mirror work, as long as they'll let me. I've still got my 11-year-old on board, so that's good.
Fantastic. Now I know that you're writing, we're talking about writing self-worth book and also dealing with women. And the aspect of self-worth is really important to me as well. And I talk about identity, although I talk about brand positioning, but I realize that as we do work with women's empowerment, the aspect of identity needed to really start going into the identity we have of ourselves inside. Um,
Mm,
I felt that that was the reason why I wasn't becoming. Uh,
mm,
because you have things you're saying, but there's something in you. And the two, there's no alignment until you deal with that inner and realize, there's something there. So I wanted to see how you could differ dealing with children from adults in aspects of, because with adults, we've built up for so long
yeah,
something.
I think, look, for so long, the world itself whispers, "You're not enough." Like we have that, and there's comparison and doubts and insecurities. Am I good enough? Always. So that's why, again, coming back to the former question, that's so important to instill in children. Like you're sowing that into their soul that you are worthy, you are enough, you are all of these things.
Mm,
Um, I probably didn't have that as a child, so I went through my own teen years of not knowing who I was and questioning my worth right through to my 30s, to be honest.
mm,
So I think the difference between adults and children, with children, we have the opportunity for prevention, so they never have to go through that by instilling that at a young age. With adults, it's coming back to home, coming back to yourself. So doing all those little practices, whether it's affirmations, um, the mirror work, like I talked about, just self-care, knowing you're worthy of self-care. And that can look like different things to different people. Self-care could be going and having a whole day at a day spa, or it could be sitting in the garden with a cup of tea and watching a butterfly flutter around. But practicing those things to rebuild it, because I think so many of us adults haven't grown up having that instilled and stitched into our spirits. So we're constantly questioning, am I good enough? Imposter syndrome, all that sort of stuff kicks in. But rebuilding yourself, because when you're a child, at some age, you thought you were awesome. No, let's even go back to babies. Babies scream for their milk because they're hungry. So they know what they want and they know how to get it. So come back to that. Maybe not scream for it, but come back to that moment where you knew what you wanted and what you deserved and you knew how to get it. Just do it a little bit more gracefully than screaming for it. But I think, yeah, yeah. Let's all try that. No, don't try that at home.
No,
I think,
it has helped. It has helped me realize that, yeah, sometimes tapping into what you're describing there can allow you to step into your fullness, really.
mhm, mhm. Knowing like again, I will say, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you have to say. Why doubt yourself and just give it a go. I'd never written oh, actually, I had written a children's picture book, but I'd never published a children's picture book before this. I'd never written affirmation cards before I did that. I had all these, I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't studied writing. And then I just thought, why am I questioning myself? This is my gift. Just do it. Just get it out there and believe in yourself, back yourself, and
Yeah.
push through the fear.
Exactly. Amazing. Oh, great. Great. And with women really coming to that, really self coming back home. Uh, do you think there's another build up, external build up? Because when you talk about this Parker squad, I ended up thinking, isn't this something for adults, for women?
I know, right? Well, definitely. Let's create it. The first little launch that I'm working on is just going to be an exclusive small thing, but it's actually a mothers and daughters event.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a glamorous little lunch, mothers and daughters or carers and daughters, could be grandmas, aunties, carers coming together, and we're going to spoil them with this beautiful lunch, and we're going to have a little styling session and talk about self-worth and making glitter crowns and things like that. So again, for the women to tap back into that, and remember they're worthy of that. And talking about inner child again, let your inner child run free. I've got on my mirror in my bedroom over there. What did it say? I should go. It says something like, be remember to be playful, love little Farah. One day it came to me in a meditation. So, and then a little big love heart. So I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta be playful. Why can't I dance and skip around? Just
Okay.
because I'm 48 years old doesn't matter. So yes, I think very, very important for women as it is for children. So let's create a Sparkle Squad club for mums and women.
They need it. They need it. And you're talking about that. I remember there's a client, I felt she was really stuck in tradition and everything. And I told her to do, I don't know what they call it, a sorrow, just to put her hands out and just turn her body like a child. And
Yes.
she felt so hard. I told her in your backyard, and she said it was hard for her to do. But then she said, finally, I've managed to go on a swing. And she started to make those moves. And I said, yeah, just keep doing something that is tapping into your childhood and take something out because she had lost her sparkle. She was all the time, all serious. And I just thought, there's something you need to do. I said,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's so beautiful, Stella. I got goosebumps as you were saying that. And do you know the power in that? I don't have to say, do you know the power in that is it unlocks creativity and vision and leadership when you tap into your inner child, because that playfulness, then suddenly you allow that creativity, which gives you visionary moments and enhances your leadership skills.
Oh,
So, like you said, the whizzies around or playing on the swing, or I mean, music for me is very powerful. I will listen to certain types of music depending on what I need, or pre-performance. I'll listen to a song to get me into that space. But often I would just have 80s music cranking in the kitchen, dancing like a really daggy mom. But I'm like, woo! And my kid's like, ooh, so cringe. I go, you love
I know.
it.
I love that as well. I love that.
The
And I'm
power of play.
exactly. I'm blessed to share like Princess Sophia the Fast for Disney's Sophia the Fast. And my daughter and I just love her so much. So we're always just playing Sophia the Fast songs. And I keep thinking,
Yes.
why were they written for children? Adults need this.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Adults need it, but we can tap into their stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I also, before I even created the series, The Sparkle Squad Girls, I used the language for myself and my friends that I am creating my own Sparkle Squad, as in it's very important who you have in your inner circle. So make sure those people make you sparkle. How do you feel when you leave a catch up with a friend? Do you feel sparkly or do you feel drained? So that the thought and theory of Sparkle Squad was something that I used in my adult world before I created the Sparkle Squad Girls series.
It is beautiful. I really just love it. I love the name. I love the brand name and I love its whole purpose. And I just really feel that adults would need it very much.
Mhm. I've
Yeah.
got so many ideas for cool merch that both adults and children can love. So
I think
watch
many,
this space.
very good. Many women are going to ask, how does she do it all? You've talked about for children, you've talked about dogs, you've talked about cats, you've talked about this woman being an advocate, you've talked about her emceeing, you've talked about her being oh, what is it? She's an entrepreneur. Okay. What? How did she do it?
Um, That is a very good question. When I ask myself, I get overwhelmed. How do I? Just kidding. I really like walk the talk as in practicing self-care. So I will actively do that daily. Like I love to have a 20-minute nap. I will set my alarm for 23 minutes because I've trained myself like an athlete. If I set an alarm for 23 minutes, I know it takes me 3 minutes to fall asleep and I have a 20-minute nap and I wake up and it's like new day, start again.
Wow.
Um, then I can occasionally do expanded versions of that. Last weekend, I was away in the Gold Coast, which is a beautiful area in Queensland, for a 3-day meditation retreat. So all I did for 3 days was meditate, sleep, and eat clean food. So that really filled up my love cup. Yeah, just daily practices. And I have to, I guess as an actor, I and also embracing change from my crazy, colorful childhood, I can just like jump from thing to thing to thing and come back in and out. But in order to do that, I have to fill up my love cup first, and that is the self-care aspect. So that's probably how I do it all. And I will sometimes diarize days where I am going to be in my trackies and I'm going to watch Neighbours or Netflix all day. I literally have those days because if, some of my weeks are very full, whether I'm shooting or whether I'm emceeing, because emceeing, the work isn't really, I mean, when I'm on stage, that's the gift part where I get to share the joy and the intention comes to life. The work is in the build up where I'm writing the scripts because that takes so much time. So if I've been building up for an event, and I know it's coming up, I will diarize a day where it's just breathe time. Don't look at social media, just be, nap, do what you got to do. I think that's how I handle it all by trying to walk the talk of actively practicing self-care.
Okay. Actively walking the talk
Mhm.
of self-care. Mm. Okay, so we know that a lot of women look at it like I have to wait in order to produce something like a story. What gave you this courage to write and start to publish?
It was it was like a child that had to be born. So I it came to me as an idea and it was almost like a little baby going, you need to come in. I need you to bring me to the world. The courage was a promise to myself, to my daughter, and to the little girl that I used to be. So committing to them that I will shine in this purpose and bring this idea to life. And I didn't want to wait for permission. I didn't want to wait to feel ready. I just, because worthiness isn't something you earn either, it's something that you remember and you own. And I knew I couldn't keep this story locked inside. It was like, let me out, let's glitter all over the place. So it's a little flickering story waiting to be told. So I wrote and I poured every heartbeat into it, like writing the story. It started off a lot bigger than it is because a children's picture book, there's quite constraints into, how many words and how it flows and things like that. So I'm an overwriter. I start by overwriting and then going to the editing process. So writing all those little beautiful ideas, all the characters that wanted to come to fruition and preparing to release it into the world now, all glitter bomb first with all the joy, soul and purpose that it deserves. Yeah, I know it's part of my purpose in life. And the courage came from going, well, this is part of my purpose. It's my role to do this. I've got to do this for my inner child, for
Mm.
my daughter, for myself, and for every girl that this is going to
To touch.
spark her inner spark or ignite that flame within each girl. And to be honest, I really believe that it will be igniting flames in the mothers and carers as well, because the message is there to strengthen their self-worth as they're reading it out aloud with their daughters.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So what would you say to the woman who has that story and message and is scared for putting it out in the world?
Get your message out there, gorgeous glitter bomb, because the world needs your truth. It needs you just as you are. Speak scared, write trembling, begin anyway. Just start, get it out there because your story might just be the map for someone else to find their sparkle. So, you sharing your story is like a lighthouse for someone else to be guided and light the path for them. So just do it.
Just do it. Amazing. Thank you.
Didn't mean to quote Nike then.
Just go out and do it. So, if you could speak to your younger self, the girl before the spotlight, what do you think she would be proud of today? Most proud of, most likely she's proud of many things or all the things. What would you think she'd be most proud of? And what message would you be giving her?
Um, I think
Maybe your 14-year-old self, just your daughter's age.
10-year-old self. Yeah, my gosh, that's this is where because my daughter's going through challenges right now, and even when she's challenging me, which she does do well, I go, "Whew, I remember being 14. That was not easy. 14 for girls is hard work." So I think to my 14-year-old self, she would be proud that I never stopped dancing in the face of despair and that I found that courage to put myself out there, all sparkle and all. I didn't hide behind fear or shame or anything like that that sometimes life and others try and throw at you. So, and I didn't hide behind feeling not enough. I would tell her, you are not too much. You are the exact amount of magic that this world needs. So hold on, darling, because your shine is going to sparkle brighter than ever. And that I love you, little Farah, and you are loved and worthy.
Aww, beautiful.
I think
Beautiful.
it's so, you know what, as I say that out loud, I think it's so important we do that as adults to ourselves. Actually, I sometimes I've done this before. I will write on my mirror, I love you. And I'll look in the mirror and I'll say, and it's not easy. Because how often do we say I love you to ourselves? Like, not often. But when you do, that again reassures that inner child, and then that helps strengthen you as a woman. So
Yes,
there's another little thing. I forgot about that. Telling yourself that you love yourself.
very important.
You're valuable.
Yeah, yeah. I do that in the morning before I leave the mirror. I say, I love you. I just,
Oh, that's so beautiful, Stella.
like,
Yes.
yeah, because otherwise you're waiting for other people to say it.
Yeah. And why?
If they don't say it, then you're going to be disappointed. So tell yourself.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to make that a daily thing. Thank you, Stella.
Pleasure.
And we say it to so many people, don't we? But yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people are outside in the world waiting for others to tell them, I love you.
Hmm.
Let's
Hmm.
say it to
Hmm.
ourselves and then,
Hmm.
yeah, move on with that.
Oh,
Yeah, start the day, move on with that fulfillment that you love yourself. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Oh, so now let's talk about you've given the message to the little Farah. I love that message. I
Mm.
always feel that it's a message to ourselves.
Yeah, thank you. You brought it. Oh, that was unexpected.
So what do you think people don't know about Farah Mak? What is it that people don't actually know?
My deep secrets. No, kidding. I would say a lot of people don't know that my strength was forged in silence. And a lot of people just see the sparkle, but that's come through hardship. And that behind the sparkle is a soul that's shaped by faith and held by grace and anchored in unwavering integrity. um, that I cry when I read poems, not because I'm sad or hurt, but because I feel every word in my soul. What many don't see in me, which we talked about earlier, is the lioness. So when I see, sense, or feel injustice, especially when it touches children or women, I rise fierce and unapologetic, lit by a fire that refuses to be quiet. So I feel like after what I went through a few years ago, I was born for a call for justice, and I honored that with every fiber of who I am. I'm still healing myself, still unfolding, but through it all, I carry a quiet prayer in one gentle hand and a glitter bomb of hope in the other. So hope is a really strong thing for me. I think hope is very powerful. And if we don't have hope, then everything feels too hard. So, I want to make the world a little softer, a little braver, a little more worthy for girls growing up in it. I'm trying to think of a fun fact that they might know about me. I think the strength and silence and the lioness is. I actually spoke to a girlfriend today about that because my justice was triggered this week, and I was like, "Whew, the lioness is out." When people don't realize, because I am like soft and squishy and glittery and sparkly all the time, but when I feel a sense of injustice, I'm just like, woof, all right, let's go, like power pose. And I'm not to be messed with. I was
Pushy.
talking to a friend the other day who's a barrister about this particular circumstance and how I handled it. Always, I will say it's always with grace and dignity, but a fierce I can't describe. And when I was telling my friend, who's one of the top barristers in Victoria, she goes, "Oh, you're scary."
Yeah,
I was like, no, not in a scary way, just in a way of I will not allow injustice to take place right now, and I will make that very clear for you.
yeah. I think there are moments that require that lioness to exist to really surface because
Yeah.
there are cut-off points when really something has to be stopped.
Yeah. And you can hold, like, lioness is a good example because you can still hold, lionesses walk with grace. And so you can still hold that space of grace while feeling like fierce,
Yeah,
they can merge together.
yeah,
And that's again much more powerful than just letting the raw come out, holding the space of grace and fierceness together.
yeah,
Still trying to think of a fun fact for you. There's probably lots we'll get off this. I mean, everybody knows I love glitter. There's no hiding that.
yeah,
Glitter, sparkle, pink,
yeah.
daggy dancing. I'm trying to come up with a confession that no one else knows.
That's
I yeah, the fierceness is something that I probably don't show very often, and it's only shared with people who are acting without integrity.
interesting. So let us know as well, what legacy do you want to leave behind for women and girls around the world? I know, I think I get to think I know, but I want to hear it from you.
Just a reminder that your worth, your self-worth is not earned. It's innate. It's within you. It always has been a part of you. And sometimes it just needs to be remembered.
Mhm.
And that joy is not frivolous, it's revolutionary. So hold space for joy, let that inner child play, no matter what age or stage you are in life. That inner child will help you in everything you do because it will unlock your creativity and your vision power. And that our sparkle isn't something that the world gives us, it's something that we are. We are stardust, we are sparkle. So I guess I want my legacy to be like a trail of a million bazillion I am worthies whispered, shouted, sung, danced, lighting up playgrounds, boardrooms, stages, and hearts. So a ripple of girls and women who rise not by shrinking their shine, but by standing tall in their truth. Sparkles, scars, and all, holding, space for all of you, hot, loving the parts of you that you might see as shadows, just embracing all of who you are. Because when one girl or woman remembers her worth, she doesn't just rise, she gives permission for others to glow and glitter on their own sparkle journey.
Amazing. That's so beautiful. So beautiful. Is there anything you don't leave behind as you're going to any, apart from your mobile phone? Is there something you carry as a woman, a must have for maybe events when you're going to MC or anything that you do? Is there
I,
something maybe
I
that doesn't leave you?
I do tend to carry, like when I'm speaking a lot, I like to have a little crystal in my hand. Not so much that I actually don't know much about crystals, to be honest.
I was going to ask you about them.
So, I can't educate you on that. I'll find one that I feel drawn to. Often it's the little pink ones, or this is a nice, beautiful, clear one, and I'll have that with me because it helps me feel grounded. So whether I hold it or even if it's just in my pocket, sometimes it's in my bra if I don't have a pocket. But that's like a physical anchor for me to ground. Um, yeah, that's probably the main thing that I like to. I mean, I even have like glittery, I don't have it on me right now, but when I like to carry a pen because I love journaling and taking notes, and it's usually a glitter pen or it's got a diamond or a unicorn on the top. So I'll show you the notebook that I have right now, Stella, so you can see how much I embrace my inner child. This is my business notebook when I have meetings. It's a unicorn that says create magic. And there's just, every time I have a Zoom meeting, I take a million notes and then I'll type it up and go from there. So, yeah, having the little things that remind me of my sparkle and inner child and playfulness around me always helps.
Oh, amazing. That's beautiful. So if you have your magic wand and you're changing the world, what would you like to see in the world today?
Oh, I was going to say every woman and girl, but really that everybody knows their worth because I think when the power of self-worth is woven through the world, then the ripple effect of that is kindness and compassion for others. Um, Creating a world where joy and hope are embraced and strengthened and valued. Like I think the world seems to have lost the value of hope and joy. And, sometimes we don't give permission ourselves to feel hope or joy when we might be going through grief, but it's okay to feel. Sorry, my son is in the background gaming or something. He's very noisy. It's okay and actually a good thing to allow yourself to feel joy and have hope, even when you might be in your darkest days and feeling grief.
Yeah.
To allow yourself to feel those because that's okay and there's power in that.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So everybody knows that their self how know their self-worth and that there's joy and hope and that can be embraced by everyone. That is so
Hmm. And
beautiful.
hold on to that joy and hope. That's my really strong message for people going through family violence or survivors who are still on their healing journey. Know that there is hope, and the light and the rainbow at the end of the journey is just much more powerful and magical than you could ever imagine. You will rise into your strength, and you will become more than you could imagine you have ever dreamed of being.
Oh, amazing. Okay, beautiful. Now that we're coming towards the end, we always want to leave our stellar women to leave a challenge for our subscribers and listeners. And this time we're calling for women to leave a challenge to help our subscribers to move into their ability to play big. What challenge would
Mhm.
we have to leave to our subscribers and listeners?
Okay, my challenge for today, which is something that I've done myself, which is how I ended up writing various things, is to write a letter to your younger self, dear younger me. And it might start with, I know you're feeling. So you might reflect on at a time when, like, let's say 14, dear younger me, I know you're feeling lost and afraid right now. I know you feel scared and like you're not good enough. But I want you to know that you are. So tell her all that she has reclaimed. Tell her all the dreams that you've brought to fruition and then read it out like she's reading every word. So write that dear younger me, give her that compassion and empathy and that big warm hug, knowing, explain that you know what she's going through. But guess what? Here's the hope. Here's where you're at. Here's what's going on now. And we've just begun.
And we've just begun. That's amazing. So will this be a way in which they can step into being able to play big?
Mm-hmm. Just knowing you can't and looking, and that gives you the moment to reflect on your journey as well and where you've come. So when I've journeyed from 14 to now, what I've achieved, what I've overcome, what I've done in that time. So, oh my goodness, what can I do next then? Like the levels are limitless. You can achieve anything that your heart desires. In fact, you should, because if your heart's desiring it, that's part of your purpose. That's part of the reason you're here. So when you write that dear younger me and reflect on it, first of all, loving and nurturing your younger child, but then when you take the time to reflect on your journey, just think, whew, oh my gosh, I've got galaxies to reach.
Wow. Yeah, definitely.
And
Great.
they're so sparkly.
And they're still sparkly. That is amazing. It is beautiful, 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 Farah. Thank you so much for giving us this time. Thank you for opening up and sharing from within and sharing your knowledge and your experiences. I'm sure it's not going to be one thing because I have learned so much. I'm sure most of our subscribers, all of them, will take something out to change in their lives and to be able to play big, to do all these things that Farah is able to do. Of course, you don't have to do exactly what she's doing. You do other things that really make you get that sparkle.
Mhm.
Feel your sparkle. Is there any other thing that you want to leave to the listeners, Farah?
Oh, when you're talking about the play big, one thing that just came to mind is play big and dream bigger and keep elevating that.
Yeah, play big, dream bigger, and keep elevating. Keep
Mm.
elevating. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to all of us who are listening and who are our subscribers. And there's a lot to take away. Take away as much as you can. Remember self-worth being very important aspect that is unnegotiable to start from inside out and listening with presence. All those aspects, remember that this self-worth is your foundation. Step into that with fullness. And she tells us also to remember to, yeah, to voice, to say what we have to say, to stand up sometimes even fiercely if you feel the injustice as Farah does, but remember doing it with grace. Yeah, remember to do it with grace and don't forget to integrate grace. Shine and sparkle. So this world with all of that. So it has been awesome. It has me, Stella Kikoyo, the editor-in-chief from the Stella Woman magazine. Keep tapping into playing big so that you can rise and soar. And remember to do it with sparkling wings. So until next time, bye-bye. And Farah,
Oh,
thank you.
so gorgeous. I love it. Do it with sparkling wings. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
and Farah
feeling
Mak
way more
saying bye-bye
energized
to
now.
you. So
You were right.
Farah, say bye to everyone.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you all. Mwah, 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 mwah.